Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Futu Holdings third quarter 2022 conference call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. After management's prepared remarks, there will be a Q&A session. Today's conference call is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn the conference over to your host for today's conference call, Daniel Yuan, Chief of Staff and Head of IR at Futu. Please go ahead, sir.
Thanks, operator, and thank you for joining us today to discuss our third quarter 2022 earnings results. Joining me on the call today are Mr. Leaf Li, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Arthur Chen, Chief Financial Officer, and Robin Xu, Senior Vice President. As a reminder, today's call may include forward-looking statements, which represent the company's belief regarding future events, which by their nature are not certain and are outside of the company's control. Forward-looking statements involving inherent risks and uncertainties. We caution you that a number of important factors could cause actual results to differ materially from those contained in any forward-looking statements. For more information about the potential risks and uncertainties, please refer to the company's filings with the SEC, including its registration statement. So with that, I will now turn the call over to Leaf. Leaf will make his comments in Chinese, and I will translate.
感谢大家参加今天的业绩会。截至本季度末，我们的有资产客户数达到144万，同比增长 24%。三季度，由于受到市场下跌的影响，净增有资产客户数约 5.8 万人，环比下降 5%。尽管市场下行，但是我们首次在展业的5个国家和地区都实现了高于 98% 的季度有资产客户留存率。这一业内领先的留存指标，体现了我们产品的用户粘性和核心客群的稳定性。
Thank you all for joining us today. As of quarter end, we had 1.44 million paying clients, representing a 24% year-over-year growth. In the third quarter, we added 58,000 paying clients, a 5% sequential decline due to stock market tumble. Despite the market downturn, we achieved over 98% quarterly paying client retention rate for each of the 5 countries and regions for the first time. Our industry-leading retention metric speaks to the stickiness of our product and the resilience of our premier client base.
在新加坡市场，净增有资产客户数环比增长超过 30%， 这得益于我们日渐多元化的获客渠道，以及我们围绕公募基金推出的一系列有针对性的线上和线下营销活动。我们也因此吸引了许多资产配置导向的客户，他们在市场波动的环境下更倾向于选择低风险的公募基金产品。在美国市场，由于我们不断调整线上广告投放策略，并持续深化与本地 KOL 的合作，客户增长保持强劲势头。在香港市场，由于整体市场表现过于疲软，同时我们针对银债的推广对客户没有产生很大的吸引力。三季度香港的获客速度有所放缓。目前我们在35至55岁的香港居民中的人口渗透率约为 10%， 仍有巨大的提升空间。因此，未来我们将继续把获客重心放在这部分人群。
In Singapore, new paying client growth accelerated by over 1/3 sequentially as we successfully launched targeted online and offline marketing campaigns around mutual funds and expanded client acquisition channels. We were able to attract many allocation-driven clients who gravitated towards lower-risk mutual funds amid market volatility. In the U.S. market, client growth remained robust as we iterated on online marketing and deepened our collaboration with KOLs. The deceleration of client acquisition in Hong Kong was mainly due to sluggish equity market performance, and to a lesser extent, limited traction of our promotions around Silver Bond. Residents between the age of 35 and 55 will remain our priority in Hong Kong, as our current penetration is around 10%, offering significant room for further growth.
我们季末客户总资产约为3700亿港币，同比下降 13%， 环比下降 15%。 尽管市场下行对客户的持仓市值带来负面影响，客户净入金仍维持强劲势头。在新加坡，优质客户的流入和强劲的客户净入金带动总客户资产环比增长 11%。
Total client assets declined 13% year-over-year and 15% quarter-over-quarter to 370 billion Hong Kong dollars. While the challenging equity market weighed on client portfolio valuations, net asset inflow remained strong. In Singapore, total client assets grew by 11% quarter-over-quarter due to higher quality new clients and strong asset inflows.
本季度总交易量 1.1 万亿港币，环比下降 19%， 其中美股交易量占比达 69%， 科技股交易量下滑拖累了美股交易量环比下降 16%， 但客户对杠杆 ETF 的交易热情依旧很高，这抵消了一部分科技股交易量疲软带来的影响。由于港股市场各板块交易情绪持续低迷，港股交易量为 3040亿港币，环比下降 28%。本季度一些客户进场抄底了部分中国新经济公司，带动两融余额环比增长 2%。
Total trading volume declined 19% sequentially to 1.1 trillion Hong Kong dollars, of which U.S. stock trading constituted 69%. Lower turnover of technology names led to a 16% sequential decline in U.S. stock trading volume, partially offset by strong trading interest in leveraged and inverse ETFs. Hong Kong stock trading volume was 304 billion Hong Kong dollars, down 28% sequentially amid deteriorating market sentiments across all sectors. Margin financing and securities lending balance increased by 2% sequentially, driven by client spot and fishing of Chinese new economy names.
财富管理客户总资产为260亿港币，同比增长 47%， 环比增长 19%。 我们作为独家分销商上线了新加坡首个 T+0 的美元货币基金产品，另外也在新加坡推出了货币基金自动申赎功能。客户在开通该功能后，系统会根据客户交易账户里的闲置资金余额，自动进行货币基金的申购和赎回。我们把握当下的加息周期，特意丰富了货币市场产品种类，并提升了产品功能，推动新加坡财富管理总资产实现环比4倍的增长。在香港，我们新上线了一支锁定期为1个月的现金管理产品，该产品面向专业投资者，预期年化收益率可达 4.2%。 受该产品拉动，私募基金资产余额环比增长 67%。 随着我们持续丰富和完善基金产品种类，并对产品功能进行升级，截止本季度末，持有财富管理产品的有资产客户渗透率从2季度末的 15% 提升至 17%。
Client assets in wealth management grew 47% year-over-year and 19% quarter-over-quarter to 26 billion Hong Kong dollars. In Singapore, we became the exclusive distributor of a newly launched USD-denominated money market fund with T+0 settlement, the first of its kind in Singapore. We also introduced Smart Save in Singapore, which gives our clients the option to automatically subscribe for and redeem money market funds based on the cash positions in their trading accounts. We were intentional about adding money market products and enhancing their functionality amid a rate hike environment, thereby growing our wealth management assets in Singapore by 5-fold quarter-over-quarter. Client assets in private funds increased by 67% sequentially, mainly attributable to a new cash management product that offers 4.2% expected annualized return for professional investors with a 1-month lockup. As of quarter end, wealth management penetration among paying clients increased from 15% in the second quarter to 17%, as we continue to expand fund offerings and upgrade product features.
截至3季度末，我们有301家 IPO 分销和投资者关系客户，以及572家 ESOP 客户，同比分别增长 40% 和 76%。本季度 有超过50家公司开始使用我们的 ESOP 服务，包括赣锋锂业和微创脑科学。根据万德数据统计显示，在今年的前3个季度，我们作为承销商参与了23宗香港 IPO 项目，在所有券商中排名第2。
Our enterprise business have 301 IPO and IR clients, as well as 572 ESOP clients as of quarter end, up 40% and 76% year-over-year respectively. Over 50 companies adopted our ESOP services during the quarter, including Ganfeng Lithium and Microport. In the first 3 quarters of this year, we underwrote 23 Hong Kong IPOs and ranked 2nd among all brokers, according to Wind.
接下来有请我们的首席财务官 Arthur 介绍我们的财务表现。
Next, I'd like to invite our CFO Arthur to discuss our financial performance.
Thanks, Leaf and Daniel. Please allow me to walk you through our financial performance in the third quarter. All the numbers are in Hong Kong dollar unless otherwise noted. Our total revenue was 1.9 billion, up 12% from 1.7 billion in the third quarter of 2021. Brokerage commission and handling charge income was 958 million, an increase of 3% year-over-year and a decrease of 7% Q-over-Q. The year-over-year increase was mainly driven by a higher blended commission rate of 8.8 basis points, up from 6.9 basis points in the year-ago quarter. The Q-over-Q decrease was due to close to 20% sequential decline in trading volume, partially offset by the higher blended commission rate. Interest income was 881 million, an increase of 39% year-over-year and 42% Q-over-Q. The year-over-year increase was mainly due to higher income from cash deposits, which more than offset lower margin financing income and the IPO financing interest income. The Q-over-Q increase was mostly attributable to higher interest income from cash deposits and higher margin financing income. Other income was 107 million, down 36% year-over-year and up 16% Q-over-Q. The year-over-year decrease was mainly due to lower IPO financing service charge income, enterprise public relationship service charge income, and the currency exchange service income. The Q-over-Q increase was mainly due to some one-off income items. Our total cost was 218 million, a decrease of 18% from 267 million in the third quarter of 2021. Brokerage commission and handling charge expenses were 83 million, down 34% year-over-year and 5% Q-over-Q. The commission expenses didn't move in line with brokerage commission income due to the cost saving from our U.S. self-clearing migration and upgrade service package with our U.S. clearing house. The Q-over-Q decrease was mainly due to lower trading volume. Interest expenses were 41 million, down 40% year-over-year and up 68% Q-over-Q. The year-over-year decrease was mostly due to lower expenses from margin financing and the security lending. The sequential uptick was driven by higher daily average margin financing balance and higher blended funding costs amid rate hikes. Processing and servicing costs were 91 million, up 35% year-over-year and down 3% Q-over-Q. The year-over-year increase was primarily driven by higher cloud service fee to support our overseas market expansions. As a result, total gross profit was 1.7 billion, an increase of 18% from 1.5 billion in the third quarter of 2021. Gross margin was 89%, expanded from 85% in the third quarter of 2021. Operating expenses were 761 million, down 0.3% year-over-year and up 5% Q-over-Q. R&D expenses were 313 million, up 40% year-over-year and 7% Q-over-Q. The increase was mainly due to increase in R&D headcount as we continue to support new product offering, invest in U.S. self-clearing capabilities, and the customized product experience for different new markets. Selling and marketing expenses was 235 million, down 42% year-over-year and up 7% Q-over-Q. The year-over-year decrease was mainly due to slowing paying client growth. Expenses increased Q-over-Q as client acquisition costs hiked due to weak market sentiments. G&A expenses were 212 million, up 55% year-over-year and 1% Q-over-Q. The increase was primarily due to the increase in headcount for general and administrative personnel. As a result, our net income increased by 23% year-over-year and 18% Q-over-Q to 755 million. Net income margin expanded to 39% in the third quarter as compared to 36% in the same quarter last year. Our effective tax rate for the quarter increased to 12.2% as the tax credit from our U.S. clearing has been fully utilized. That concludes our prepared remarks. We now like to open the call to questions. Operator, please go ahead.
Thank you. If you would like to ask a question, you'll need to press star 11 on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. Once again, that's star 11 to ask a question over the phone. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. Thank you. We'll now take our first question. Please stand by. This is from the line of Cindy Wang from China Renaissance. Please go ahead.
好，谢谢管理层给我第一个提问的机会。我是华兴资本的分析师 Cindy 王云宁。那我这边有2个问题想请教一下管理层。第一个问题是关于利息收入的。那因为我们看到利息收入其实在第3季有一个很强劲的一个增长，那可不可以大概给我们一个 breakdown， 就是利息收入 by 这个 margin financing income、bank deposit 还有 IPO financing 的 interest income 的一个占比？那我们看到第4季度其实 Fed rate high 在11月的时候又在增加了75个 bips， 那可能到12月的时候还会再增加一个50个 bips。那您觉得就是说以第4季度来看的话，这个 bank deposit 的一个 interest income 的一个贡献的话，大概可以给我们带来多少在第4季度？那第2个问题想请问一下佣金率这一块，因为佣金率在第3季度的话，我们也看到有一个比较大幅度的一个增长。那可不可以大概跟我们讲一下，从我们这个衍生性商品的贡献，还是美股的一个费用这边的一个贡献的占比，可能大概可以让这个佣金费率再往上走的一个空间大概会有多少？那您觉得这个佣金率维持在 8.8 个 bips 是否可以维持在第4季度，还是说还有一个空间再进一步的上浮？那我大概翻译一下我的问题。My first question is regarding to the interest income in third quarter. Since interest income show very strong growth in third quarter, could you give us a breakdown by margin financing income, bank deposit, and IPO financing interest income in third quarter? Since Fed rate hike was another 75 bps in November and possibly to raise another 50 bps in December, how do you see the contribution from bank deposit in fourth quarter? The second question is regarding to the commission rate. In third quarter, the commission rate was up again to 8.8 bps. Could you give us the reasoning behind it and how sustainable for the rate in fourth quarter? Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. This is Arthur. I will take 2 of your questions. First, about the interest income. I think the contribution from the IPO margin financing is relatively small. So most of our interest income now comes from the client's idle cash and also our margin business, which I think you are right. We are one of the beneficiary from the rate hike cycle, especially in the third quarter we see the contribution from the client deposits becomes more meaningful. And down the line, I think if on a like-for-like basis, it may contribute more interest income in the fourth quarter. But having said that, you can understand that our interest income actually comes from 2 parameters. One is the interest rate, i.e. the deposit rate we get from the banks. The other is the client's idle cash average balance, which may be related to the market volatilities. For instance, in the third quarter, the market becomes very challenging, and we can see the average cash balance among our clients become much higher. They lower down their stock positions. So I'm not sure whether such the allocations versus clients' stocks and the clients' cash will remain in the fourth quarter or not. But if I assume such ratio remain the same versus the third quarter, I think we will get more interest income in the fourth quarter. For your second question about the blended commission rate, there comes from several factors. Number one, as Lee mentioned, in the third quarter, our U.S. trading, the contributions roughly accounts for close to 70%, which has a positive impact on our blended commission rate. It is very difficult to forecast whether such product mix will continue or not, given it is more driven by the market conditions. And secondly, the trading volatility in the third quarter, comes more clients trading derivatives, such as options and the futures, etc. In the third quarter, our trading commission, among our trading commission, roughly 30% came from clients' activities in the derivatives. So it will enhance our blended commission rate as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Very clear.
Thank you. We'll now take our next question. Please stand by. This is from the line of Zoe Zong from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
感谢管理层接受我的提问，我是 Jefferies 的 Zoe。首先恭喜公司取得这么好的业绩，那我这边就有2个问题想请教一下。第一个是我们已经提前实现了全年新增 200K 付费用户的目标。那想请教一下，目前来看的话，4季度在不同市场的获客情况以及明年的获客策略是怎么样的？那我第2个问题是关于新加坡市场。那我们也看到新加坡的新增付费用户和客户资产取得了比较不错的增长。想请问可不可以分享一下我们现在在新加坡有多少付费用户，以及户均资产大概是多少？那我们预期渗透率还有多少上升空间？谢谢。那我自己翻译一下。Thanks management for taking my question. This is Zoe from Jefferies. Congratulations on the solid results, and I have 2 questions. So first, we have already achieved our annual target of acquiring 200,000 new paying clients. So wondering, based on the current market conditions, could you please provide some color about our user acquisition in Q4 and next year? And my second question is regarding our Singapore business. As we have seen strong growth in the number of new paying clients and the client assets, wondering how many total paying clients do we have in Singapore as of Q3, and what about the average assets per paying client? How do we think about the penetration rate and upside room? Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. I will take your first question, and I will leave your second question to my colleagues, Robin, regarding the situations in Singapore. For your first question, you are right. We are already approaching our full year guidance for 200K new paying clients acquired this year. Quarter to date, I think you can understand and everybody can imagine the market condition was quite challenging across the US and also the Asian markets as well. So based on the current quarter to date run rate, we think the new client acquired in the fourth quarter may be smaller or slower than the third quarter, but we are very confident we will continue to acquire clients across the different markets. And also, quarter to date, we still record decent net asset inflows across the different markets. It is too early to give you some sense or the guidance for our next year's, the new paying clients guidance. We will keep you posted in our fourth quarter earnings call. Thank you.
感谢提问，我来回答一下第2个问题。那么我们在 Q3 新加坡是录得了一个不错的一个增长，那我认为主要是因为我们抓住了新加坡客户相对稳健的一个投资心态，那我们做了有针对性的推广货币基金等低风险的财富管理产品，在整个的加息周期下，货币基金的收益率在持续提升，对新加坡客户 是十分具有吸引力的。那这也变相的有效拉动了我们新客户的一个增长。那另外就是我们也在同步的去不断的去完善我们整个的开户和出入金的这个体验，使得我们整个的转化率也有所提升。另外就是同时我们看到了客户质量也在逐步的提高。Q3 新增客户的首月户均入金就已经超过了9000新币。那今年1月获客的客户，我们观察下来通常是需要3个月左右才能达到这样的一个户均的入金水平。那截止 Q3 末，新加坡户均资产是超过了1万新币。那在整个市场疲软的背景下，依然实现了环比增长，这主要是得益于新加坡客户的一个持续的良好的入金的一个情况。谢谢。
So in Singapore, we have over 200,000 paying clients now, which we think is about 15% of market share, and we think there's a lot of room for further growth. And in the third quarter, we recorded decent growth. It's mainly because we introduced lower risk wealth management products such as money market funds to capture the conservative investment appetite of Singapore clients. And in the rate hike environment, the yields of the money market funds kept rising and become rather attractive to Singapore clients, and thus driving the growth of local new paying clients. And we also continue to optimize the account opening and asset deposit process, thereby driving conversion from users to clients and also to paying clients. And meanwhile, we also saw improving client quality. So for the clients that we acquired in the third quarter, the average net asset inflow in the first month exceeded 9,000 Singapore dollars, while the average net asset inflow of clients acquired in January this year will take about 3 months to reach this level. And as of the end of the 3Q, the average assets of our Singapore clients was over 10,000 Singapore dollars, recording a modest Q-on-Q growth. And the increase in net asset inflow was able to more than offset the negative impact of the weak equity market. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you. We'll now take our next question. Please stand by. This is from the line of Yu Fan from CICC. Please go ahead.
好的，非常感谢管理层给我这个提问的机会。我是中金公司的分析师樊悠悠。那首先也是恭喜公司在3季度如此波动的市场环境下取得了非常喜人的业绩。那我这边的话主要有2个问题想请教一下管理层。首先的话，第一个还是关于咱们这个用户这边具体的一个 breakdown， 包括像看咱们这个新增用户，还有包括这个存量用户来看的话，分地区的一个分布。然后第2个问题的话是关于咱们这个客户资产。如果具体来分拆看咱们这个客户资产的净入金，还有包括咱们这个 market to market loss 的话，大概分别的一个水平是怎么样？Okay, I will translate my question. Thanks management for taking my question. This is Yo-Yo Fan from CICC. First, congratulations on the exciting results achieved this quarter despite the volatile market environment. I have 2 questions here. The first one is about the client region breakdown. Would you please introduce more on the region breakdown of the newly added and also the existing paying clients? And also my second question is about the client asset breakdown. We see that the total client assets decreased by 15% quarter over quarter. Would you please give us the breakdown of the asset inflow and the market to market loss?
Thank you. My colleague Robin will answer 2 of your questions. Thank you.
好的，感谢提问。我们 Q3 竞争的有资产客户中，可以看到是美国和亚洲地区是差不多是各占一半。那其中亚洲地区最大新增最多的是新加坡，其次是香港。那么另外我们看回截止 Q3 末的一个存量数据，现在是海外的有资产客户占比是 30%。那当然这海外是不包括香港啊。那如果是计算整个集团来看的话，最多的目前是香港，超过接近 40%， 然后现在是新加坡和美国都还不到 20%， 大概是一个这样的情况。然后另外一个问题是关于客户资产的一个跟市场波动的一个影响。那么我这边的观点是，市场波动和客户的净入金实际上是影响到我们客户资产规模最主要的因素。Q3 来看各个市场的客户净入金 状况都是比较好的，总的净入金和Q2是持平的，但是在美股和港股市场的持续下行之下，还是降低了客户的总资产，也就是说，市场方面的影响会大过入金方面对我们的一个有利的一个影响。谢谢。
So first of all, to your question on the breakdown of our paying clients, so among the new additions in the third quarter, Asia contributed about half of that, among which Singapore was the main contributor, followed by Hong Kong, and the US contributed roughly the other half. And as of the end of the third quarter, so overseas paying clients was around 30%, in which Singapore outnumbered the US by a small margin. And then in total, Hong Kong contributed close to 40%, and overall Singapore and US each contributed less than 20% of our overall paying client base. And to your question on client assets, so market fluctuations and clients' net asset inflow were the most important factors affecting our total client assets. And in the third quarter, the net asset inflow in clients in all markets were quite robust, and the total amount remained flat compared with the second quarter. However, the declining Hong Kong and US stock markets dragged down the total client assets. Thank you.
好的，谢谢管理层。Thanks for the answering.
Thank you. We'll now take the next question. Please stand by. And this is from Leon Qi from Daiwa. Please go ahead.
好的，我是大和证券的李昂奇，非常感谢管理层给我这个提问的机会。我有2个问题想请教，第一个是关于新加坡，第二个是关于香港的。在新加坡这边呢，刚才也听到管理层已经讲了我们这个新客非常强的在3季度的增长。那我想关心一下我们的这个产品工具箱啊，因为管理层也讲到我们3季度像货币式基金啊、大理财啊这样的产品，其实吸引了很多新加坡相对来讲风险偏好比较低的客户。那么接下去我们的这个产品工具箱里面，可能还有一些什么样的产品可以使我们整个产品的这个生态体系啊，更加丰富一些。我们接下去是说把现有的产品更加去做深，来给客户出入金这些体验更好，还是说有一些新的这个asset class 或者 sub class，甚至于说像 crypto 啊这一些，我们会不会有考虑？这个是关于新加坡我们的这个product ecosystem。第二个问题呢，关于香港，其实香港呢，相对来讲就是AUM 这个 upside 还很大，我理解。那其实我想请教的是关于我们这个客户增长啊，就管理层觉得是不是在香港我们未来这个 potential 啊，主要是 AUM growth， 而客户增长相对来讲已经到了一个比较饱和的程度，不知道管理层怎么看这个问题？我们未来香港是说去增加去挖客户的深度，还是说去增加新的客户？就这2个问题，然后我翻译一下。This is Liang Qi from Daiwa Securities. Thanks a lot for management for taking my questions. I have 2 questions today, one on Singapore and the other on Hong Kong. Singapore, I just want to know that what management is thinking about in terms of your future product pipeline. Understand you have been launching money market funds and wealth management products in order to expand your product ecosystem, especially non-equity related ones. What else are in our product ecosystem toolbox? Are we considering any new asset classes or subclasses, or for example, crypto? Wondering how management think about these new asset classes. Second question is on Hong Kong. Well, understand there is still substantial upside in terms of per customer AUM in Hong Kong, but appreciate if management can give any color on your user upside in Hong Kong. Do you think Hong Kong is already quite penetrating in terms of our current position? How do you see our future growth from Hong Kong? Is it more from new users or from per user AUM? Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Leo. My colleagues Robin will answer your first question about Singapore, and our founder, Mr. Li, will answer your second question about Hong Kong. Thank you.
感谢提问。我们在新加坡这边实际上是从去年我们进入到新加坡市场以来，一直在持续建设我们在整个产品和我们所提供的交易品类，这是在持续的去构建我们的竞争力。那接下来我们会重点会在几个方面吧，我觉得是一个是我们现在还没有支持港股期权的交易，然后 会在接下来不远的时间会面向新加坡客户提供港股期权的交易，当然也包括美股的组合期权以及杠杆式外汇和债券的这个买卖，这都是我们接下来的一个重点工作。另外就是我们已经拿到了新加坡交易所的自清算资质，所以我们未来也会在自清算这方面会去持续投入，这个完成支持类似于 CDP 账户的这种客户的资产的迁移。另外还是什么？另外就是对，差不多是这样的一个品类。另外就是我们也会在我们机构业务方面会有一定的投入，就是在整个的账户能力上，对，差不多是这样。感谢提问。
Right. So since last year, we have continued to enhance our product functionality in Singapore, and going forward, we have a couple of new products that we want to roll out to the retail clients, including the Hong Kong options trading and select U.S. options trading as well. And we also plan to launch leverage forex trading in Singapore, and also bond trading. And we've also acquired a self-clearing license in Singapore. So going forward, we'll build our self-clearing capability and allow our clients to transfer their assets to CDP accounts. And last but not least, I think we're also investing into our enterprise services, mostly geared towards a lot of family offices in Singapore. Thank you.
好的，我来回答一下那个第二个问题。就截止，根据我们的最新数据就富途在香港零售投资者的渗透率大约是20%，那么其中在35到55岁的香港中年人群体当中，目前是有10%左右是富途的有资产客户，所以未来我们会持续向目前渗透率还比较低的这一部分的客户群体去做重点的渗透。那么长期来看的话呢，就是我们也会更加关注资产维度的指标，比如说那个客户的净入金。那么未来我们也会通过产品品类的扩充和客户的持续运营，去增加对客户钱包份额的渗透，去吸引客户将更多的资产托管在富途的平台上面。谢谢。
So lately, Futu's penetration rate of our Hong Kong retail investors is around 20%, and we think nearly 10% of the middle-aged, aka 35 to 55-year-old Hong Kong residents. So our penetration among that population is around 10%, and I will continue to focus on further penetrating these client cohorts. In the long run, we'll also pay more attention to asset-related metrics, such as clients' net asset inflow, and we intend to continue to increase the wallet share of our clients through expansion of our product offerings and also increase in client engagement. Thank you.
Very helpful. Thanks a lot. 非常感谢管理层的解答。
Thank you. We'll now take our next question. Please stand by. This is from the line of Frank Zheng from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
感谢管理层给我提问的机会啊，我有2个问题。第一个是关于新市场进入的，可不可以透露一下我们目前对于这个新的市场进入的这个进程如何？那么明年23年我们有没有一些具体的计划？第二个问题是关于获客成本的，我们注意到3季度的获客成本大约是4000港币，那往后看的话，4季度包括明年我们应该怎么看这个趋势？另外之前公司也提过一个metric， 就是以 net asset inflow 作为分母，那么这个的这个成本应该是在1到 1.5 个百分点左右。目前来看我们这个数字的是不是比较 consistent？ 那我来翻译一下哈。First question is on new market entries. What is our current progress in terms of exploring new markets and any tangible plans in 2023? Second question is on client acquisition expense. We note that in the third quarter, CAC is around 4,000 Hong Kong dollar. How shall we think about CAC going forward? Also, company mentioned 1 to 1.5% expense ratio based on net asset inflow. Are we on track in terms of this metric? 非常感谢。
Thank you, Frank. I will take your second question first, and our founder, Mr. Li, will answer your first question about new market expansion. For the CAC, I can understand that everybody may be slightly disappointed about our third quarter results. I think there are some reasons behind that. Number one is definitely the market conditions in the third quarter is quite very challenging. Secondly, we actually continue to make some brand equity efforts in Hong Kong and in Singapore, despite some of our peers start to set back their marketing campaigns. As we do think brand equity building up is a very long-term process, and we need some patience in the market volatility conditions. And thirdly, as Leaf mentioned in the opening remarks, we try to do some new initiatives such as silver bond, promotions in Hong Kong, which unfortunately didn't pay out very well, which increased our CAC in the third quarter. Down the road, I think fourth quarter may continue very challenging given the quarter-to-date market conditions. So on a CAC levels in the fourth quarter, it may continue to be on a relatively high levels. For the asset acquisition cost, I think you are right. We are still well on track in the range of 1 to 1.5% year to date. Thank you very much.
好的。关于第一个问题，就是我们预计在明年上半年，就是会继续进入新的国际市场。就是其实我们也都在动态研究一些国际市场的机会，就是不排除会以一部分这种产品功能的形式在新市场去上线，去进行这种验证式的学习，去收集当地市场的一些反馈，就是通过这种方式来不断的优化和更新产品，来适应当地客户的需求。谢谢。
We expect to enter into new overseas markets in the first half of next year, and we're also dynamically exploring the opportunities in some overseas markets. And we may also consider launching certain select product features in a new market first for validation purposes and collect the feedback from the market so as to constantly optimize and upgrade the products to meet the needs of the local clients. Thank you.
好的，非常感谢 ，Many thanks.
Thank you. We'll now take our next question. Please stand by. This is from the line of Emma Xu from Bank of America. Please go ahead.
谢谢给我这个提问的机会，然后恭喜公司在三季度取得了非常强劲的业绩。我这个问题是关于美国市场的，刚刚管理层也提到了，就是说美国贡献了三季度大概50%的新增客户，那也是我们一个非常重要的增量市场。可不可以谈一谈，就是说我们未来在这个市场的一个增长的规划，以及目前在这个市场上客户的特征，包括这个户均资产。以及我们在那边的获客成本是怎么样，以及客户的这个回收周期是怎么样。So my question is about your US market. As management just mentioned that US market contributed to around 70% of new client in third quarter. So this will be a very important new market for your company. Could you tell us what's your plan for this market in the medium to longer term? And could you tell us what your client characteristics in this market? For example, the average client asset, the client acquisition cost for US clients, as well as payback period.
Okay, our founder Leaf will answer this question. Thank you.
对，关于美国市场，就是我们对于这种不同的投放渠道的激励门槛是一直在做不断的调整。那么三季度以来，就是我们持续的这种广告投放以及和 KOL 的深度合作呢，就使得我们在美国市场的整个的品牌知名度是有所提升的。那么虽然那个三季度我们在美国的获客速度是有所加快，但整个市场的下行的负面影响，这还是抵消了一些客户进入金对资产带来的增长，所以整体的一个户均资产还是有所下降的。另外就是 四季度的话，就是美国的节假日就开始变多了，就是整个节日的情绪其实也会影响到部分这种客户的一个入金的意愿，所以我们预计美国市场的一个获客速度在四季度是会有所放缓的。同时我们也在把整个侧重点的话是放在客户质量的提升，就是不断的去提高我们的一个获客的效率。谢谢。
So we continue to iterate on client incentives and across various channels in the U.S. and our continued marketing and in-depth collaborations with KOLs helped improve our brand awareness in the U.S. market. And despite the acceleration of client acquisition, average assets per paying client has decreased as market downturn offset strong net asset inflow of our clients. And looking into the fourth quarter and as a result of the upcoming holiday season, we expect the sentiment to affect some U.S. clients' willingness to open accounts and transfer funds, causing client acquisition to slow down in the U.S. In the meantime, we'll continue to focus on improving the client quality and the efficiency of client acquisition. And in terms of client acquisition cost, right now, the CAC in the U.S. is lower than the overall group's client acquisition cost. However, the payback period will be much longer. I think we're still patient on our monetization in the U.S. as we plan to roll out a number of new product features in the coming quarters that we think can meaningfully improve monetization. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now take our next question. Please stand by. This is from the line of Peter Zhang from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
谢谢管理层给我提问的机会，我是摩根大通的张毅 Peter。首先恭喜富途取得强劲的业绩。我第一个问题是关于香港市场的。我们看到香港港股的交易量是比上季度下跌了28%，然后但是我们看到整个市场香港市场的交易量是下跌了18%对比上季度，所以我想问就是我们这个下跌的幅度是大于整个市场的原因是什么？第二个问题我是想问一下关于科技投入这块，管理层年初的时候有给过指引说 Headcount 会在全年增长20%，我想问我们现在是不是已经完成了这个 Headcount 增长的幅度，然后未来在 R&D expense 这边变化的趋势是怎么样？ Okay, let me do the translation. This is Peter Zhang from JP Morgan. Congratulations on the strong result. My first question is about the market share in Hong Kong. We noticed that the Futu's trading volume in Hong Kong declined by 28% quarter-over-quarter, while the total trading volume in Hong Kong market declined by 18%. So we wish to understand what's the reason behind. My second question is on the IT spending. Management gave guidance of 20% headcount increase in 2022. I wish to check what's the progress on this initiative and what will be the R&D expense trend going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I will take both of the questions. I think number one, the comparison is our trading volumes, change patterns versus the overall markets. The reason behind, in my humble view, is that the overall markets, including retail investors and also institutional investors, when the market becomes extremely volatile and it's extremely challenging, normally, institutional investors trade more, tactically and responsibly versus retail investors. Given, certain retail investors may continue to hold their positions, unlike institutional investors will, become more nimble and react to the market volatility. This is the question number one. For question number two, I think, year to date we are on track in terms of the net new headcount increase, in this year. And particularly, I think, in terms of Delta, the overall, headcount increase has already peaked in terms of speed versus, the past 2 years. So down the line, I think, we are still, do the internal evaluations about next year's budget in terms of a headcount. But I do think, the increase of the headcount, especially in the R&D side, next year will be, quite stable, or, the speed may be smaller, even smaller than this year. Thank you.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you.
Thank you. And this concludes the question and answer session. I would now like to hand back to Daniel for closing remarks.
That concludes our call today. And on behalf of the Futu management team, I would like to thank you for joining us tonight. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me or any of our investor relations representatives. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. This does conclude the conference for today. Thank you for participating, and you may now disconnect.